Welcome to the Michigan Association of Secondary School Principals New and Improved podcast series featuring great discussions, insight, and resources on all things related to education and administration.
Welcome back to the MASSP podcast. We are going to share with you today a podcast that Ryan and I did while at the MASSP convention. So Ryan, how did it go from your side of it?
As always, it was a great event. Our EdCon conference that we put on each year in Traverse City is just such a blast. Everyone's happy to be there, excited to learn, and they come away with some really great resources that makes them excited, really, to get back to their office and get back to their buildings to implement. So, which now that it's August, I'm sure that's what everybody is busy doing.
It really was an awesome conference. And George Couros, oh my gosh, with that keynote.
Yeah, as our listeners will hear, everybody had great things to say about his message and how inspiring and uplifting it was. Definitely a common theme from our podcast session with our drop-in guests.
One of the things I love the most about live podcasting from a conference is the ability to grab walking guests as they're leaving their sessions and just ask them for a quick tip, one or two. And luckily that they'll sit down with us instead of being frightened and running away, because I'm not sure I would have the courage to go on and do that. But all of our guests were so fantastic and just amazing takeaways they had.
And some of them were pros. I'm watching my back. I'm not going to be allowed to do another podcast. Some of these people were way better than I ever am on here. So I agree, though. They were awesome. So everybody listening, when we switch over to the interviews that we had, you have to excuse a little bit of the background noise. We were kind of in the hallway catching people in between different sessions, so you'll hear a decent amount of background noise, but you should be able to hear our guests speak pretty clearly and such, and they had some great things to say, great takeaways, and it was a great opportunity for myself, and I'm sure you'll agree, Theresa, just getting to meet just a variety of different people that are up at that conference from completely different schools and settings, and even different roles, from deans of students to even central office personnel that were there. So just really great conversation, great opportunity, and it was really, really fun.
It sure was. It's one of the best part of the conferences is meeting people and putting names to faces and faces to names. That's a big part of, we send emails all the time and we see people on social media, but to be able to interact and make connection with the faces was a huge part of it.
Absolutely. So I hope everybody that's listening right now, hope you enjoy listening to our different guests and their takeaways and what they thought of our EdCon conference. And of course, we'll be back in the same spot around the same time again next year for EdCon, the 2019 EdCon. So, and I'm really excited to bring hopefully the live podcast back once more.
Tammy Jackson, we just got out of the keynote with George. Give us some takeaways.
What an inspiration. I just love his thought process. If we could all pull that off in our schools, what a great thing we'd do for kids.
It's awesome. So far, how's everything been going?
I think it's been going great. We have one of the best turnouts we've ever had, and people seem motivated. And they're willing to come up and ask for directions when we're doing a podcast. I mean, it's great.
This is what it's about. Awesome. Thanks for stopping by.
Brad, come here. We have a first-time EdCon attendee joining us. We have Brad Hale coming to us from Brown City High School over on the east side of the state. Brad, what'd you think of, first and foremost, the keynote with George Couros today?
It was very powerful. Just a lot of ideas, excited though, where do I start? And excited to just get started because there's so much positive there, but also empowering, and excited to hit the next session because of his message.
So you just completed your first year as a principal. You're here at EdCon. What do you think so far? How's the conference been going?
Overall, just powerful. I think for me as kind of closing the school year, it's awesome to just have lots of new positive ideas and to incorporate and bring back and kind of set a tone for what it is that's the school building's going to do next year.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the rest of your day today. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you. Dan, we're doing podcasts for MASSP.
Okay.
We're just asking, so you just got out of the keynote. Dan, tell us where you're from.
Belleville.
Belleville.
Baron Schools. Yeah.
Very good. So, what'd you think?
Oh, very engaging. I mean, it was invigorating, and makes you really want to go back and do something. So.
Good. Have you seen George before?
I have not.
No? It's the first time. Awesome. Did you get your book?
I did. I'm excited to get into it.
Good. It's great stuff. Thanks for coming by.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Dan. That's right.
Now-
Ron Miller, principal of St. Clair High School. How's the conference been going so far, Ron? What's a great takeaway?
How could anybody not walk away from George Kuros just being totally stoked about getting back at it?
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
This is a great annual event.
What are you going to next?
I'm split between two. I'd like to go see the George Kuros, but I think I may be going to the Jostens.
Right.
Yeah, Renaissance
that's good stuff.
package.
Yeah.
Very good.
Hey, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Ron.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Kevin Beasley,
Oh,
tell us who you are and where you're from.
Clinton High School. Kevin Beasley, Clinton High School.
Very good. And your principal there?
Yes, principal and was athletic director as well last year, but finally gave that up. So just AD just a high school principal this year.
Good for you. How's the conference going?
Awesome. It was great to see and talk to George. He's a big inspiration for us at Clinton High School. We read his book last year, made a huge change in the culture and what we do at the high school. So it's been awesome.
Favorite part of the conference so far? Give it to us.
Probably the food.
The food is top notch.
Can't go wrong with the food. But no, to actually meet and hear from George, who So far that's it. I watched you yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
Did very well yesterday.
Thank you.
Ed talks are great. So
What session are you going to next?
I'm gonna go to see George again. Tower
Awesome.
seat. So hopefully there's a seat. If not, I'll stand.
I think it's going to be a
It's been
standing
great.
room only in there. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll get the inside
That's
perspective
right.
of somebody
The
who helps
woman in charge.
organize all this,
That's
Chelsea
right.
Martinez.
Okay.
Chelsea, how's it going?
It's going flawlessly. We have a record number of attendees this year. We're almost at the 430 mark,
Awesome.
which is amazing. We want to get even more people here next year. It just continues to grow, continues to be, the premier conference.
It's great.
We're going to steal our next guest for only 1 minute because she is extremely busy running around. We have the MASSP Executive Director, Wendy Zadab, with us so far. So, Wendy, how is the conference going so far in your mind?
Well, I think we're up and running and out of the gate fast. I really don't think that MASSP does anything halfway. So we are having a great time, and it's really awesome to be up at Grand Traverse, and I watch the stress that people come in this conference with, because everybody's just ended the school year. Their anxiety is high. They're still thinking about all those end of the year things, and they get up here, they bring their spouse, they bring their kids. They have a great opportunity to learn and network, but they also have that opportunity to start that reconnection that they, so desperately and importantly need. So I really appreciate all the school districts who have embraced EdCon as an opportunity to send all of their secondary administrators, because I think as, a team, it's really, really important that you might have the opportunity. Like, I know Team Saline is here, And when do you get that time to listen and learn together and then plan for next year?
That's exactly right. Just that connection time. It's so important to understand each other outside of the building too.
Right. And I just think that sometimes maybe, districts might look at that and think, oh, that's a pretty significant investment to send my people. But what better investment can you make? Because truly, these building principals come back with so much great information, and it's that opportunity to not just hear great information, but actually sit together and say, what can we do with this next year? What are our deliverables moving forward? And I look at districts like Rochester Community Schools has almost all of their secondary administrators here.
Wow!
And that's a huge opportunity. They were just taking a picture with George Kuros, and you could feel the energy that they had. So it's really, really great.
And I think that energy is carried over to everybody heading out to their first session for the day, because there's a buzz and they're inspired right now to do some great learning that I know you guys have set up and planned for all the attendees. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you guys stepping up and taking over the podcast. I made a feeble attempt at getting it started in the first place, and it just was really hard, to make the commitment to. But I really, and I do think too, although I enjoy doing it, I think having having someone who's a member, take it up and, really take ownership of it. I just can't, thank you enough and appreciate the work that you do.
Oh, it's been great. It's been so fun and awesome to be able to do it here too with Ryan and connect with people. So this has been really exciting.
Awesome, guys.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.
All right, can you please just state your name and what school and district you're from?
Absolutely. Paul Sibley from Dakota High School and Chippewa Valley Schools.
And one of our MASSP Board of Director members. So what do you think about the last session you just came out of?
Oh, it was excellent. I just came out of the Johnston's Renaissance presentation, so it's something that we've been considering at Dakota. We've been talking about it. My advisors are really interested in it, so
Absolutely.
I went and tried to familiarize myself a little bit more with it so that I could maybe answer that question to them a little easier. And I'm definitely interested, so I'll be calling my rep when I get back to town.
Good move. What are you looking forward to checking out also while at EdCon?
So a couple more things I'm going through today. I'm excited about some ideas using Khan Academy, how to use the coaching tool a little more. Obviously, the keynote speakers are great, so I'm always looking forward to those each day. We're also looking at, I've got one about school culture later on that I'm excited to go to as well.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Very good. Thanks.
This looks like somebody who wants to podcast. Ma'am, can you?
I don't know how to podcast.
No, it's easy.
You just have to talk.
It's very simple.
Awesome.
All right. So can you just tell us your name and what school you're from?
Sheila Pilmore, Breckenridge Middle School High School.
And are you a principal, assistant principal?
Principal. Yeah.
Principal. Awesome. What session did you just come out of?
The Johnston's Renaissance.
How was that?
That was good.
Yeah?
A lot of good ideas.
Yeah. That's a really neat program they have going on there.
Yeah.
What else? What else are you looking at learning about while you're at EdCon?
Oh, probably SAT or Khan Academy.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's good.
That sounds much fun, but
No, but
something
it's
gotta
still
do.
there.
Yeah.
And how about that keynote with George Couros
He
this
was
morning?
great. I already follow him on Twitter. I don't know how I found him, but I already follow him, and I retweet a lot of stuff he says. It's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
He was very good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a great speaker. Favorite part of the conference so far?
George Couros.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Yeah. He was really good.
Yeah.
He was really good. Awesome. Thank you for stopping by.
You're welcome.
Enjoy the rest of your conference.
Hey, tell us who you are, where you're from.
How are you?
Great, how are you?
Great. I'm Dave Raff from Saline High School.
Look
Where
at
are you
that.
from, Theresa?
Also from Saline High School.
Yeah. I'm surrounded by hornets right now.
Well, that's a swarm.
There's a swarm. That's a
good
swarm. Very
answer.
good.
So, Mr. Raft, favorite part about this conference so far?
Just listening to George speak. Everything he talks about is basically what I believe in and lived. I was that student that wasn't a student. How I ended up in education for the rest of my life. It's probably a punishment or something. It's about the kids. It's what it's always about. So they come first.
Biggest takeaway?
Just to focusing and continue to know that our vision and our movements that we're doing at Saline is right for kids. So keep pushing it. Sometimes you have battles that people don't like to, they don't want to accept the change or the paradigms that we're going to talk about a little later. But I think it's one of the things that hearing the push that you continue to do the right things for kids.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the rest of your conference. Thank you so much for stopping in.
Thanks, guys.
Jason Truck, high school principal there.
That's right.
Hello.
Congratulations, by the way.
Very much. I appreciate that.
So tell us how your conference has been so far.
Oh, it's been amazing. I have my whole administration team with me, and we're kind of dividing and conquering, saying lots of great things, jotting down lots of great ideas, and just sharpening each other. It's really cool.
Great. Thanks for sharing your ed talk yesterday.
Absolutely. That was
fantastic.
That was a lot of fun for me. Yeah.
Good stuff. What about George this morning?
So inspirational. We had a very forward-thinking superintendent come to us a couple years ago, and this past school year, he purchased a copy of The Innovator's Mindset. So we were excited to see George live because we, as a team, developed or kind of dug into the book this past year. Got some great ideas, got some teachers thinking out of the box, but really, he's just, his message to challenge us as educators to be really doing some unique things with students while we have them is just inspiring.
It really is.
Yeah, super excited to get back and start thinking about how we can do this and how I can start unlocking the potential of our teachers to make things happen.
Biggest takeaway?
Hey, the conference isn't over yet.
That's true. That's a good answer. Good answer. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your conference.
Bye.
What is your name and what position do you have and where are you from?
My name is Susan Dominic. I am the principal of the Alternative High School in Rochester Community Schools.
Excellent. And what session did you just come out of?
I just came out of the tragedy section.
How was it?
Awesome. It was amazing.
What takeaway were you able to gather from that?
Well, I think it was a reinforcement of the steps that need to be put in place so we know what we need to do. We need to front load, making sure we have plans, making sure we have our teams put together, but also with the reality that when a tragedy occurs, you're still going to have to rely on your instincts to a point. You can go to your plan and use your plan, but you're still going to have to be able to contact everybody. Multiple things have to be done at the same time, and always consider the family. Always.
That's excellent. What other sessions are you looking at going?
I think I'm going to go to the one that Wendy's going to do with data. That was very interesting. I went to sessions yesterday that I thought were phenomenal. So far, I think everything in the conference has been a home run. Everything has just been fabulous, and it's been difficult to decide on breakout sessions because there are so many good ones. It's kind of like you want to clone yourself and go to multiple.
Absolutely. Well, that's good. That's a good problem to have, I guess. That's good.
It is.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Just, I want to get a takeaway from you from the conference so far. 30 seconds. I'm going to
30 seconds?
put you on the spot. Can you share your name and what position you have and what building you're from?
My name is Chris Ming. I am the principal of Marine City Middle School in the East China School District.
Excellent. And what session did you just come out of, and how was it?
I just came out of the instituting, competency-based learning in schools. I think it's great. I'm looking forward to following up with Armada about that because I think it fits in well with the middle school mindset.
Excellent. What did you think about our keynote this morning?
George is fantastic. Very funny guy. I read his book before, so I'm taking this one back to my teaching staff, but it's one of those books I like to read right before we start the school year again, kind of get the energy.
Absolutely.
Get ready for the school year.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Take it easy.
Okay, my name is Nina Davis. I'm principal at L'Anse Creuse Middle School East in L'Anse Creuse Public School District.
Excellent. And what do you think about the conference so far? How's it been going?
I think the conference has been awesome. I was especially inspired by my last session and the keynote with George, I think it's Koros, is how you pronounce his name, as he talked about the digital imprint that you should have within your personal and professional life. And so I'm inspired. My 2018-19 goal going forward now is to create a, not an Instagram, but actually to create a Twitter account for our school and to be active on that throughout the school year.
All right, so taking something back that's actionable right back to impact your building in the fall. That's awesome. What are you looking at going to this afternoon? Any other sessions?
I'm going to look at some PSAT 8-9 sessions as we will be incorporating that into
middle school, absolutely.
Yes, exactly, into our school year. So I'm excited about that and what's to come.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
We got a little hashtag.
There you go. Get it. Boz is going for that Twitter award. You're going to get it. Tim, you got 20 seconds?
I've got 30 for you.
All right. We're just doing, it's not live, but we're podcasting. So could you just state your name and I think a new position for you coming up?
Yes.
Soon, right? And what district you're at?
Tim Sanchez, and I am going to be the middle school principal at Grayling Middle School.
Awesome. Congratulations, by the way. And so what do you think of the conference so far?
As always, it's excellent, top shelf, first class. And so the speaker we had this morning was incredible. And so you're going to get fired up and ready to go back and change the world.
Absolutely. What sessions you looking at covering at the rest of the conference?
I'm going to see Colin here after lunch, talking about the 8th grade growth because that's my new position. So I gotta go learn from the expert.
Awesome. Well, thanks for popping in. Enjoy the rest of the conference, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're just getting some takeaways from folks as they're coming in and out of session. So if you could just state your name, position, what district you're from.
My name is Dave Powers. I'm principal at Schoolcraft Middle School in Schoolcraft, Michigan, just south of Kalamazoo.
And I'm not going to try and date you here, Dave, but how many EdCons would you say you've come to?
All of them, all of the EdCons, and then several of the tuning matches.
Okay.
So that does date me a little bit.
Okay. Some of our listeners will catch that reference, I think.
Yes.
Some will not, some will.
Right.
Biggest takeaway from the conference so far?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, anybody that was here this morning and heard George Koros talk, if you weren't inspired and motivated, then somebody needs to check your pulse, because that was amazing, and that's what we're all here for.
Absolutely.
So he tapped on so many of our passions and what we ought to be about, and just affirming so many of the great things that are happening in schools across the state. So anyway. anyway, that was fantastic. And then as I'm looking over the lineup of the breakout sessions, there's some that obviously resonate very closely. So the restorative pieces, I went to both those yesterday.
Oh, very good.
The competency-based piece this morning here, our district is moving in on standards-based grading and competency-based education. Got a grant through MDE this year to be doing some of those things. So it's great to connect and network with some folks that are on similar pathways.
And then you can hopefully catch some more a little later this afternoon with the Leader to Leader, which is always a great session as well.
Amen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the rest of your conference. Thanks for joining me.
Ryan. It's great to see you.
Same here.
Jason Petrella, the head of school at Cardamom Catholic High School from the Archdiocese of Detroit.
Awesome. So what do you think of the conference so far, Jason?
It's a great conference. I mean, it's a great time, end of the year. It's inspiring for us to get excited for the next year. It's a good way to decompress. It's just a good time.
Awesome. What session, either yesterday, today so far, really stuck with you, or you really had a great takeaway from?
I like both of them. I was at the Leadership Matters conference I went to, or the breakout session earlier. It was really good, kind of reinforcing how we can be accountable without being disciplinary with our staff.
Excellent.
It's very helpful for us leaders. I mean, you don't get at college.
Absolutely.
We're so well educated in the education field, but then the leadership part of it is something that's not always the practical stuff. So that was great. And then the whole flip side, just the data stuff. We just went back to data for our teacher evaluations and state requirements and how to use that and keep people accountable on that end too. So
you're right. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me and enjoy the rest of your conference.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so can you tell us your name and position and what school or district you're from?
My name is Damian Pepin. I'm the principal for Pioneer High School in Croswell-Lexington School District. We're an alternative program that has been created in the last 3 years that gives virtual and blended learning options for students.
Awesome. And so what, looking through that lens, what are some sessions that really stuck out to you or gave you some really great takeaways?
I enjoyed the breakout sessions today with George Curios. He talked about your digital footprint and living and being authentic with the medium that students are using today, that if you're still referencing a fax, and we live in the year of 2018, maybe you are a little bit illiterate yourself in what's going on in the world.
Any sessions from yesterday, how about?
Yesterday we went to a restorative justice practice, and one of the best things about that is they didn't just tell you about it, they actually put together a skit and went through the roles of each person.
Actually acted it out to give you the visual idea how it works.
Right, so they actually went through the role playing of all the parts and talked about the success and also the failures that can occur, and gave you a good picture of that failure sometimes is not a bad thing, because it's going to make you a better practitioner of the practice later on in the future, and understand the roles of all the parties involved.
Awesome. And there's going to be if you were really into that, I know MASSP is, with MASA, is putting on a restorative practices symposium in August. So it'll be all things geared to that for people that need to utilize that and put that in their school. So check that out. So cool. Well, thanks for chatting, man, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you, sir.
All right. If you could give us your name and position and what school or district you're from?
I'm Kelly Skokna, and I'm principal at Armada High School.
At Armada, that's over on my side of the state then. All right, very good. First time attendee?
Yes.
How many years in administration have you been?
1 year.
Oh, so you just finished, or about to finish the school year?
Finished my first year.
Congratulations, that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
That's a special feat. So what do you think of the conference so far? First time attendee, what do you think of EdCon?
It's been great. It's been wonderful. I've gotten some great ideas. Just finished up with the Justin's Renaissance one. That was great on climate and culture at school. Yeah, so
good.
Great ideas.
I think we have a keynote coming up. What other sessions are you looking to hit this afternoon?
I'm actually helping present at one on CBE, so I'm doing that this afternoon. But I love George Curios. It was awesome. So very motivational. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the rest of your conference, and thanks for chatting.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Awesome, thank you. I want to talk to the champion runner here. I put you on the spot for 30 seconds?
Is it really 30
seconds? Yeah, it's literally 30 seconds. All right. we're just asking people takeaways from sessions, that sort of thing. Can you just give us your name, position, and what district or school you're from?
Yeah, Joe Esper. I'm the head principal at Traverse City West High School. There's two big high schools in Traverse City.
Right nearby.
Yep.
Awesome. And champion set seg fun run male winner from this year's race. I have to make sure I point that out as well. So
big time.
What session did you just come out of?
So we just came out of using data and PLCs.
Okay, how did that go?
It was interesting. Similar data protocol to what MASSP works through in their workshops. It kind of added a step, and then they talked about how they had teachers do that in classrooms with students, like when they got fresh NWA data that came back. So not just doing it with teacher teams, but putting it in front of the kids. So the kids doing the predictions before they flipped over their paper and looked at their scores, and then getting all the way down to like the kids making a plan about what they're going to do, which is like a really important ownership piece that we forget sometimes. And the teachers come up with great plans and we hand them to the kids. You know, or we as principals hold our teachers accountable to writing great plans for kids and handing them to the kids. But the kids, you know, having that ownership of understanding what their next step is and making the plan or asking the questions to make the plan, I think it's like those little things you pick up at conferences. It's like, well, that's so obvious, but we don't do it in my school yet.
Well, you guys, something to maybe think about implementing in the fall, then we can get to it. Cool. Hey, thanks for chatting.
Thanks, Ryan.
Are you doing a podcast?
And I think I just got my next guest. Come on, Donna. So if you could just state your name, position, and what district or school you are from.
I'm Donna Bugner. I'm the principal at Gray Lane High School and a Region 2 rep for MASSP.
Very good. And how, not to put you on the spot, how many EdCons have you been to now?
Phew, I've been to EdCon since they were on Mackinac Island, so however long that is, I don't know.
You are a seasoned EdCon vet, we'll say that.
Okay, yes, that sounds good.
What session did you come out of, or what session particularly hit home for you so far at the conference?
Well, you know, love George. That gets you fired up, and believe it or not, I want to see kids like tomorrow. Like, let's get fired up and do what the stuff he was talking about. But I just came out of Steve's Khan Academy stuff and some real practical things to help our kids, and actually this thing about our seniors with the big future stuff. I'm excited about that. I'm gonna get them going on their careers and some career pathway stuff.
Very cool. Awesome. And otherwise, favorite thing so far about the conference?
Well, you.
About, everyone else has gotten that question wrong, and it's a damn time somebody got that question right. All right. Other than that, what else?
I mean, what I love about this conference is just even, having lunch or snacks with people and talking. We just get so much information just talking to our colleagues. I mean, we're constantly now not writing things down. We're tweeting it and sharing it, and you can't put a price on that kind of information.
Then that leads to one of my favorite, which is always our leader to leader, which is going to be coming up.
That's right.
As well. So
in a little bit. And I remember when I was first a leader to leader, it scared the crap out of me, and I'm like, was going by the paper so much, like, okay, next question, and now I'm just like going in there and
let it flow.
Just talking,
Cool. Well, enjoy the rest of your conference. Thanks. For chatting.
Bye, Ryan.
Bye. Okay, if you could just tell us your name and your position and what school or district you are from.
Lisa Phillips, Detroit, Cass Technical High School, and I'm excited to be here.
All right, and how many years have you been coming to EdCon, Lisa?
This is year number 4.
Awesome. So, favorite takeaway, session, breakout, keynote so far at the conference? What has that been for you?
Favorite takeaway for me is habitudes.
All right.
Habitudes, and I am a thermometer instead of a thermostat. I think I got
there you
that right.
Yep.
But I'm also really interested in the very last piece when he said to look at students who are alone. It's very important that we pay attention to those students. So I'm definitely going to be one who's going to sign up for the We Dine Alone movement to get that chapter at my school. I think it's very important.
Awesome.
And I like the way he talked about empowering our students. Our schools do look like factories.
Isn't that interesting?
The bail system. I'm thinking about making changes now.
That's cool.
Being bold.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sounds like you got a great takeaway from that event. So thanks for chatting. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Okay. Oh, you're good.
No. Thanks, Lisa.
So many takeaways from our attendees. We hope that you got as much out of this podcast as we did. And we look forward, as Ryan mentioned earlier, to bringing the live podcast back to EdCon 2019. Be sure to check your calendars, mark them down, and join us in Traverse City. We are heading into season 3 of the MASSP podcast. If you are interested in something specific that you'd like to share with us, or if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, please send us a tweet, send one of us an email, and we will be sure to get in contact.